Let's get you more on this. France 24's Carys Garland has been following that debate for us. Carys, walk us through, if you will, how this law would actually work if, of course, it's approved.
Hi, Rochelle. Good to see you. Essentially, this law seeks to loosen a very important, significant principle in French cultural law, and that is this idea that objects which are part of public collections, so held in museums like the Louvre, for example, cannot be sold, transferred, or given away. So currently, if France wants to return an object or artifact, it needs to be removed from the public domain, and that usually requires a specific law each time. Now, French President Emmanuel Macron has he promised to speed up this process and make restitution easier. That was in 2017. Since then, the French government has made a couple of restitutions. Notably, in 2020, the government moved to make a symbolic return of 26 royal treasures to Benin. It took then another 5 years to return a very important talking drum to Ivory Coast. So we can see that this does take time, especially with an overloaded parliamentary agenda, especially given a very uncertain political context with the instability that came after the dissolution of Parliament. So what this law would do, it would make restitutions carried out by a decree. And so this would apply to objects that were taken between 1815 and 1972. So that's between the start of France's second colonial empire and then the entry into force of a convention by UNESCO, so a framework for restituting objects under international law.
So, Carys, as you say, a slow process, gradual one, but of course that debate set to kick off very shortly. Walk us through what the different kind of political groups are saying. Are they in agreement? Is there, are there many divergences on this restitution?
Well, one thing that the government wants to make sure is that there are so-called safeguards in place, criteria for which objects can be returned, and criteria that will determine whether or not they were taken illicitly. So, we expect lawmakers to decide, well, how can we determine that? The far left France Unbowed is calling for these criteria to be broadened, as they currently are, to include other objects that normally wouldn't be included in this, like the Aztec Codex Barbonicus, which is actually held in this actual building, and it's claimed by Mexico. Now, on the other end of the political spectrum, the far-right National Rally says that the restitutions should be limited to countries to which France has cordial relations. This is quite significant given the fact that we've seen former colonies now governed by regimes that are hostile to France, particularly on the African continent. So, for example, Algeria. Algeria, by the way, is claiming, requesting personal belongings from Emir Abdelkader be returned to the country. Mali also is seeking Ségou treasures be returned. So the National Rally is concerned that this law will validate what they call a narrative based on repentance. There is also, some are saying this is not necessarily going to soothe tensions. That's what we heard from one France Unbowed MP, France 24 spoke to a little earlier. He said it's also important, though, it's a positive step, and it's important to get out of this mindset of, these works are being held in Western museums, French museums, because there are no suitable places to have them on display in their countries of origin. The Greens Party is also rejecting the absence of the word colonization in this bill. One left-wing MP said that this is a political mistake and it is a form of continuity in France's denial of a part of its history.
Okay, Carys Garland will be speaking to you, of course, later as more details come out of the debate. For now, though, thanks very much, Carys.